Alright, we have decimals then. I guess we embark upon our great journey of decimals. And first of all, let's talk about decimal place value, which means this. Write this number down. Let's say we have 75.432. Probably the toughest thing to realize when it comes to decimals is the farther a digit is away from the decimal point, the smaller it really is. In other words, this. Okay. The first place after the decimal is what place? Do we know? It's the tenths place. Okay. And if you have 4 tenths, that's a little like this. Here is one piece of paper, right? When you get to the decimal place, what you're doing is you're taking that one piece of paper and you are splitting it into 10 equal pieces. Let's see the best I can do. Which would make it about this big. Yeah, maybe a little bigger one. Just going to do a little ripping exhibition here. Let's go. Wait a second. In the deep dark training, if I had a ruler, this would be better. Let's go close. This is going to be close to about 1/10 of a piece of paper. This will be relatively close. Here we go. Voila. This is about 1/10 of what I started with. So 4 tenths means that I have 4 of these. Okay, a lot smaller than one whole thing. Well, the 3 is in what place? The 3 is in the, anybody? Hundredths place. Which means if I start with my original piece of paper, I have to cut it not into 10 pieces, but 100. Which means every tenth you would cut into 10 littler pieces, because 10 tenths is 100, right? So this one here ends up being this. This is about 1/100th of what I started with. So 3 of this means I have 3 of these. Well, when we get to this place right here, this is the thousandths. Now please make sure that when you write these down, you have to put a TH on it, otherwise it's thousandths place, which is by far different. Okay, if you have 2/1000ths of what you started with, that means I take my 100th, and what do I have to do to it? I have to cut it into 10 equal pieces, which would mean, I don't know if I can get too much better than that. I don't even know if this works. Okay, this is about 1/1000th of my piece of paper, about. And then as you go farther out here, this would be 3 what? 10,000ths. It works the same way. It's a mirror image of the other side, except there's no units place. And 10,000ths means I would have to take this little 1,000th piece, divide it into 10 equal pieces. So the point being, even if you take this whole part of this decimal number, which is 0.4323, okay, this is nowhere close to what I started with my big one piece of paper. And a good indication of that, a good way to think about that is with money. In money, we don't have all these big decimal numbers here. We stop right here. But this would be 43 cents. You know, the biggest you can have in the cents column is 99 cents. And 99 cents will always be less than one whole thing above. Anything to the left of the decimal is always going to be bigger than anything you can put to the right of the decimal. Because the decimal means you're chopping things into tens and tens and tens and tens and tens and tens. And they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. What does it ask you for? Yeah, and the book really just asks you this. Wait, let me see how far they go. Maybe I didn't do far enough. Well, they go to millions. Let's do that. So 10,000ths, and then the next one is the 100,000ths. 100,000ths. THS. And then the last one we have is the, let's go 8, in the millionths place. In the millionths place. Got that, and then we'll talk just a little bit more about it. If I asked you to make 0.4 a fraction, what would that fraction look like? Well, it is a 4 in the tenths place, so as a fraction it would be 4 tenths. We won't worry about reducing it, you could reduce it. What is this 3 stand for? It's actually 0.03. The 3 is in the what place? The hundredths place, so it stands for 3/100ths. The 2 is in the thousandths place, 0.002, so its fraction would be 2 over 1,000. The 3 is in the 10,000ths place, so its fraction would be the same as 3 over 10,000. And then the 5 would be, what would the 8 be? 8 is in the millionths place, so it would be 8 over 1 million. You know, you'd have to take something, cut it into a million pieces, and you would get 8 of them. So like if you live in Yorkville, they test, when they do your water samples, they take water samples like, because you know, they put all that water on the big water towers and they have to make sure that there's no bacteria and other things going in it. When they do that, they measure like the bad stuff in parts per millionths or whatever. You know, you're allowed to have maybe like 3 bacteria out of a million. Little other pieces of stuff out there, so your fractions and your decimals get awful small and all that sort of stuff. We don't talk about really super small stuff a lot, but sometimes we do. Victoria?
If you can reduce it, do you have to?
Yeah, you would if they asked you, but I wasn't.
Like
We were just looking at
1,000?
that. If they asked you to reduce it, they would have to. But they're just going to ask you what digit is in what place. They're going to do this. This is all they're going to do for you. They'll say 3.01396. And they'll ask you what digit's in the 10,000ths place. And you just need to make sure that you have your place value thing. This is the tenths, the hundredths, the thousandths, the 10,000ths place. What digit's in the tenths place? The tenths place is a 0. Now make sure, if it asks you what digit's in the tens place, you could tell me what? The digits in the tens place. Nothing. There's nothing in the tens place. You just have to be able to tell me. This is, the 9 is in the 10,000ths, this is in the 100,000ths, that's in the thousands, that's in the tenths. And eventually we'll be able to read those numbers, by the way. Anybody know how I'd say this number? 3 and what? How would you say the rest of it? Frankie?
3 and 100ths and
No, believe it or not, you read the decimal just like you read the whole number, so you were right. You do say 3 and, but then you say this like it is. This is 1,396 hundred-thousandths. But we'll get to that. That's not here. That's not today. That's some other day far, far away.